I do not have a relationship with Dream's mom. It's just hard to have a relationship with someone when they sue you for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Talk to him. No, but I mean, very much like in love with her. Am I missing something? How long have they not been speaking for?
It always begins with something small in the Kardashian universe. Small enough to look harmless, insignificant, maybe even sweet. But anyone who has watched this family long enough knows that nothing involving Blac, Chyna and Rob Kardashian ever arrives softly. It comes wrapped in history, betrayal, and the kind of wounds that never healed, no matter how many years passed or how many public apologies were exchanged. So when Blac Chyna, Angela White, posted that now infamous white Ferrari photo in mid-October 2025, most people saw a pretty woman leaning against an expensive car. But the Kardashians saw a ghost. A ghost from 2016. A ghost from courtrooms and custody battles. A ghost from a cycle they prayed Rob would never step back into. The caption read, "This love is forever," and she tagged Rob Kardashian directly. No subtlety, no metaphor, no attempt to soften the blow. It was a declaration, a provocation, a message written in neon lights, reminding the world and the family that she still knew exactly how to pull Rob into her orbit with one carefully placed sentence. Because cars for Rob and Chyna have never been just cars. They've been currency, weapons, markers in a love story that always functioned more like a battlefield. In 2016, Rob bought her a purple Lamborghini to prove his devotion. In 2017, after the explosive breakup, he repossessed her cars out of spite. And now in 2025, a new luxury vehicle appears, posted publicly, tied to a caption about eternal love. This wasn't nostalgia, this was strategy. And while the internet buzzed with excitement, memes and speculation about Rob and Chyna 2.0, one person wasn't laughing: Khloé Kardashian. She was the first to recognize the pattern because she lived through the first disaster up close.
Seeing that everyone keeps taking advantage of you because you're just too nice. Sometimes you got...
She was the sister who opened her front door in 2016 and found Chyna standing in her home like a storm that had blown in uninvited. She was the one who kicked Rob out of her house when she realized he was spiraling back then. She was the one who spent years picking up emotional pieces whenever he collapsed. So when Chyna resurfaced with a white Ferrari and a caption dripping with romantic certainty, Khloé didn't need confirmation. She felt it. The shift, the slide, the silent unraveling of Rob's progress. And then came the second blow. At the Los Angeles Women's Expo, Chyna, smiling, glowing, fully aware of the weight her words carried, told reporters that Rob is her person. But it was her next answer that detonated the rumor mill. When asked if she would have more children, she didn't hesitate, she didn't blink, she didn't generalize. She said absolutely, and she meant with Rob. That was the moment the internet lost its breath. That was the moment the Kardashian family went into defensive mode. And that was the moment Khloé Kardashian went silent, not out of calm, but out of recognition, because she has seen Rob hide like this before. She has seen him pull away from the family right before dropping news no one is ready for. She has seen him walk straight into situations that end with her cleaning the aftermath. To the public, it looks like speculation. Inside the family, it feels like déjà vu. And while Chyna smiles for cameras and posts cryptic declarations of love, Khloé is watching with the kind of dread that only comes from experience. Not because she hates Chyna, not because she wants to control Rob, but because she knows exactly how this story ends, and she is terrified she's watching it begin again. The complicated part of this story is that Rob Kardashian is not just a brother in Khloé's life. He is the family's quiet center, the one everyone protects because they know exactly how fragile his peace is. And whenever Blac Chyna re-enters his life, even in the smallest ways, the Kardashian house reacts the same way every time, with tension, with caution, with the unspoken memory of what happened the last time he let her in. Because the truth is, while the public remembers the chaos of their breakup, the Kardashians remember the before, the slow unraveling, the emotional volatility, the way Rob's confidence evaporated piece by piece. They remember the weight he carried in his body, in his voice, in the way he drifted further from the world until even family could barely reach him. They remember watching him disappear, and for years, every step he took toward rebuilding himself, losing weight, reconnecting with his sisters, stepping back into fatherhood with clarity, was treated delicately, like handling something valuable that could crack under too much pressure. So when Chyna started posting Ferraris and making comments about future babies, fans saw gossip. The Kardashians saw a threat to Rob's recovery. Because this is not just about romance. It's about a cycle that has already proven itself destructive. A cycle that cost Rob his mental health. A cycle that cost the family millions in legal fees. A cycle that placed Dream at the center of courtroom battles and public humiliation. A cycle they all swore would never happen again. And Khloé, who has always become the emotional first responder in Rob's life, can feel the shift before anyone else. She can read his silences the way some people read weather patterns. She knows when something is brewing. The reason her reaction feels intense, even cryptic, is because Khloé has been here before. She knows the signs, the late-night calls, the changes in mood, the sudden unpredictability, the hope that rises too quickly, the crash that always follows. Rob is a gentle soul with a history that makes him easy to sway emotionally, and Chyna knows exactly which memories to invoke, which gestures to perform, and which strings to pull. The Ferrari wasn't romance, it was strategy. And the absolutely comment wasn't slip-of-the-tongue affection, it was leverage. Inside the Kardashian circle, the fear isn't that Rob might love Chyna again. The fear is that loving her costs him more than he can afford to lose. And that's why this situation carries a different tone than past headlines. This isn't the family meddling. This isn't jealous sisters blocking a relationship. This isn't another chapter of reality TV melodrama. This is a family recognizing the earliest tremors of an earthquake they have already survived once. Kris Jenner, always calculating, is keeping the public narrative clean, talking about co-parenting, dismissing rumors, redirecting attention. But privately, she is preparing for impact. She remembers depositions. She remembers courtroom benches. She remembers headlines she couldn't spin away. Kourtney, distant but observant, sees the emotional backslide before anyone vocalizes it. Kim, who has publicly mastered emotional detachment, is the one reminding everyone to tread carefully. Rob's stability is fragile, but it is Khloé, the one who carried Rob through the darkest days, who feels the weight the most. Because she has the clearest memory, because she saw the version of Rob no one else saw, because she knows this isn't about a relationship, it's about survival. And as the world buzzes over Ferraris and baby rumors, the family is quietly bracing themselves for the possibility that history is not just repeating, it may already be underway. What the world sees right now is chatter. Ferraris, interviews, cryptic quotes, whispers of a baby announcement. But inside the Kardashian family, the conversation is very different. It is quieter, heavier, more cautious, because they all know that whatever happens next between Rob and Chyna won't just shape headlines, it will shape Rob's life. And this time, no one is pretending they can handle another collapse. The truth is, Rob's peace has been one of the hardest-won victories in the family. It wasn't fame that saved him. It wasn't money. It wasn't even therapy alone. It was the long, patient work of rebuilding a man who had lost his way, a man who hid from cameras because he no longer recognized himself, a man who shut out the world because he didn't know how to live in it, a man who loved deeply but broke easily. So when Blac Chyna resurfaced, not quietly but boldly, it didn't just stir up old memories, it activated old fears. Because Rob isn't just a brother, he is the family's most delicate thread, the one who unravels the quickest and hurts the deepest, and the idea of him being pulled back into something that nearly destroyed him once before is not a storyline to them. It's a warning. Khloé isn't going off because she's dramatic. She's reacting because she remembers the aftermath. Rob disappearing for days, Rob refusing to leave his room, Rob unraveling emotionally while the family tried to hold him together with their own hands. They remember Dream being born into chaos. They remember lawyers becoming mediators of everyday life. They remember Chyna suing their family for $100 million and showing up in court with a smile. Forgiveness may be possible, but forgetting has never been. And that's the quiet, unspoken reality that sits beneath everything happening now. The fear that Rob might mistake nostalgia for healing, because healing is quiet, slow, and sacred. Nostalgia is loud, reckless, and blinding. Rob has always been vulnerable to the wrong type of love, the kind that feels intense enough to numb the parts of him he doesn't want to face. And Chyna, knowingly or not, has mastered that intensity. So while the public debates whether they're officially back, the family's question is much simpler. Can Rob survive this if it goes wrong again? Kris Jenner, who forgives strategically and forgets nothing, is already preparing for every possible outcome. She will support her son, yes, but she will also protect the family brand before anything else. Kim worries about Dream, not the adults. She knows how easily children become collateral damage. Kourtney wants no involvement, but feels the tension vibrating in the group chat. And Khloé is already bracing herself, because if this ends badly, she knows exactly who will pick up the pieces. It has always been her. It will be her again. The tragedy is that Rob himself may not recognize the danger he's walking back into. Not because he's naive, but because emotional wounds don't heal in straight lines. They loop, they echo, they repeat the shape of the past when the heart isn't looking. And that is what makes this moment so unsettling. Not the Ferrari, not the interview, not the rumors, but the possibility that Rob Kardashian, after 9 years of rebuilding, might be stepping toward a future that could undo everything he fought to reclaim. And the family, for all their fame, their power, their public perfection, can only wait, watch and hope history doesn't have the final word.